For the longest time, we had John Dorsey looking all over for a quarterback. In fact, even I had sort of the Halloween bucket of which quarterback is in there. And coming out, here he is, hope and swagger, Baker-Mayfield. Okay, now here is an interesting thing for me, as someone will put Baker over there. And that's what I have to do, kind of put my feelings about the draft over there. I wrote the column after the draft saying I didn't like the pick. I thought Mayfield was too risky. I'm not a big fan of 6-foot quarterbacks from the Big 12. I could understand why some people liked him or some don't. But my feeling then is when you're covering this situation, and I suggest maybe the fans could follow this too. Obviously, you do what you want. But, all right, he's in Cleveland now. So let's see how he performs as opposed to, I hope he stinks because I wanted some other quarterback, or I hope he does well simply because I wanted to show everybody I was right about Baker-Mayfield and everybody else was wrong. In fact, one of the toughest things when you're in the media is when the team does something that you don't like, picks a player that you don't like, hires a coach that you don't like, is not to nitpick that person to death after they come here because, frankly, you're looking for them to fail. And so anything that looks a little negative, boom, I'm going to jump on that. Whereas if it was a player that they wanted, for example, I preferred Josh Rosen, you know, what I would do is I would probably be more patient in writing than I am about Baker-Mayfield. So what I try to do is tell myself, all right, Mayfield's here. And when I start to get annoyed about this or that, am I annoyed because what he's doing is really annoying, or simply because I didn't like him in the first place? And so I try to put in the second part. For example, when the Browns drafted Johnny-Manziel, I did not like that at all. I wrote 2 columns saying do it. In fact, I felt far more negative about Manziel than I did about Mayfield. And I've never equated Baker-Mayfield with Johnny-Manziel, other than they played in the same sort of same style of football. But it just wasn't. I don't think let's put it this way. I don't think Baker-Mayfield is the same list of problems as Johnny-Manziel. But I remember Manziel came in and said, okay, fresh start. But it wasn't long after that. If you remember, all the reports came out. Johnny is drunk on an inflatable swan. Johnny's at this casino. All these things. So, in other words, almost before he shows up for training camp, there are 3 or 4 not only red flags, but alarms going off saying this guy's big problems. So what I'm saying this with Baker-Mayfield is I'm going to give him a fair shot. I suggest fans do the same. Now, I have something to say to Hue-Jackson, the coach of the Browns, and that is this. Hugh, don't get off of Tyrod Taylor as a starter. Don't fall into the trap of wanting to play Baker-Mayfield right away. I don't care how good he looks in training camp or what else, because here is how it's going to work. Start Taylor, you brought him in to handle things. Now, whether it's game 6 or game 10, at some point Baker-Mayfield's going to play. Well, when he plays, then you're kind of at the point of no return. If you're playing Baker-Mayfield, then you got to play Baker-Mayfield the rest of the year and let him get the experience. The problem with starting him early is he's liable to be overwhelmed when they open with some of these tough games. And then suddenly you bench him, then you play Tyrod Taylor, then you go back to Mayfield, and we've all seen that before. So, Hugh, stick with the plan that John Dorsey set up. Tyrod Taylor first, give him some patience, and then go to Baker-Mayfield.